the best in life for free.
I should read what you were looking for. If this is working, it'll be 0, like 0.1. If the fuse is blown, it'd be something in like it'd be in mega ohms. It's a continuity check. Continuity check to make sure if it's a continuity check, this should be like 0, like a straight wire. If his fuse is blown, then you'll read high resistance, mega ohms. Now that I got it isolated,
It's working?
because I don't have it isolated.
It's broke here.
I don't know. It's not isolated. Hold on. Can't figure out why it's not. It should be reading something. Down through here. See, we done tore this up. See, that's good. So from here
I
to here.
feel still good.
No, don't. That's from here to here. This is just this line right here is still good. Now, from here to here.
Still
there it
good
is.
too.
Nope.
Why? Okay.
You recording?
Recorded it over there.
I'm not gonna go over. All right, all right. If you ever have a problem with this, is the first of all, this is the Everus air fryer, the 5 to 8 quart XL model, 1700 watt. I believe 1700 watts. So the situation is that we've only owned this now for 3 months, and then all of a sudden, while we started cooking, we're trying to fry some fries. Actually, it just stopped working. Now, for those of you guys who's bought this, the company says on the website where you buy it that it honors a 24-month warranty on the guarantee for quality. However, when you try and contact the company, try and find them through eSupport, they can't be found. The only thing I can do is look, even when you look on the company's website here in Canada, there is no support other than to email, and even then, you still get a response. So you're basically left on your own to see if you can fix it yourself. Now, after looking through a couple of videos and stuff on other air fryers, not this particular model because this is a brand new model. This is actually, I believe this model came out in 2020, this year. It came out in 2020 this year, and it was being advertised. And everybody was saying it was such a good, it was such a good air fryer that we decided to go ahead and buy it off of Amazon. But like I said, after about 3 months, it just stopped working. So if any of you guys ever want to try and figure out what's going on and have you go into a situation where it just stops working and it won't power back on, no matter what, there's no light right here at all, no matter what you do. It's like right now, we just shut it off. This light is still on. What happens is when you pull this tray out, it's gonna take that light off. Now, when you got something good to go in it, like fries or whatever, you push this in here, and you should immediately get a beep, just like so, showing you that the light's on, saying it's ready to go. What happened with ours was it just stopped working. Period. That light was gone. Nothing would work. So, like I said, after watching a couple of videos of air fryers, they found out a common problem with the air fryers is that there is a thermal fuse that's located inside of all the air fryers that usually blows due to either high temperature or when they exceed the temperature or the current. This one right here was rated for. This was a 15. There's a 15 amp, 192 degrees Celsius, 250 volt fuse in this particular model. So after finding it, I went to the electronics store and picked one up, similar to it, not the same brand, same fuse that came from, because this was a Chinese fuse. This one, so I went and bought this one. This one only had was a company fuse made by a company named NTE, but it's worked just as fine. All you have to do is go ahead and replace it. Keep in mind that when you do go and replace it, if you buy it, usually most with the thermal fuse sets, they come with a couple of crimps. Crimp it, do not solder it. Okay, I've seen some videos in there where people go ahead and solder it, and you can go ahead and do it at your own risk. But just keep in mind that this is a thermal fuse. So when you throw a thermal iron on it, you're doing the same thing. You're trying to exceed the temperature. A lot of irons, they have a certain degree which they operate at. So the best thing to do to keep away from that is to go ahead and crimp it. As you can see, I'm gonna show you right here. Here is the fuse. I don't know if the focus is gonna work on this. Right there, there's the fuse. You can even see the writing on it. What this says is that this is a RY192, 192C, 15 amp, 250 volt. Okay. Now, what I did was simply just I just cut it from the ends, close as I can, as close as you can to the ends, and then just crimp on from the existing ends. You'll need an ohm meter or multimeter, however you want to look at it, to figure out this problem. Okay. It is located here inside the unit itself. Just for your personal knowledge, if you're trying to figure this out, right here is the access point. You can pop this open it just pops open. Matter of fact, pops open, 4 screws right here, 4 screws, and then that right there brings that off. Be careful, there is a digital board right here. You have to make sure you take your time, be careful. To get to the thermal fuse is going to be an effort. You're going to have to disassemble here, and there's also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws underneath right here on the ridge. You're going to have to take those off, and then you're going to have to basically have to take the plastic housing that's holding the the heating coil and everything else. You're going to have to separate to get to that thermocouple. The thermocouple is loaded. It's located just to the right. When you open it up, there's going to be a temperature sensor that's sticking right from the top, right from the top of the metal shroud. And all you got to do is that once you see that temperature sensor, there will be the thermal fuse will be to the right of it, on the top of it, inside. Okay, it's going to be kind of difficult to do it without trying to break anything. You will have to get to it. You will have to disassemble or basically unscrew the fan part of it to get to to open it all the way up. Also unscrew the 2 brackets that's holding the iron, the temperature coil, the hot coil that's holding it, to get to that. Plus on top of that, there'll be 3 other bolts as well. But once you crack that open, you should be able to get to it. And then you'll see the thermal fuse. Just like all regular thermal fuses, it'll be shrouded with a heat protector cover. Once you slide that back, you'll see that. My suggestion to you then is it goes from the main live power, to the power regulation board, power distribution board, I should say rather. That right there, when you go to that, when you follow that all the way through, there'll be a simple clamp there that you just gotta loosen up and take off. It'll say LN. That says live, basically live in. You also have you'll see also the neutral. That's got nothing to do with it. You'll still have to stick with the live. This fuse is on the live wire, which is an orange wire, not the blue. Okay. Once you go ahead and you get that, once you see it, you'll disconnect that live wire from that the power distribution board. It's just a regular standard power voltage regulation board. Once you remove that, unclip that from there, you can go ahead and then ohm it out, and you will see with a simple ohm check while it's still there. Just ohm out the from the end of the clip to the front part of the thermal fuse, and you should get 0. You should get a 1 or something. It should register. If you want to make sure, you get your multimeter and make sure that the beeping button is activated, and then it'll give you a beep. And then you will do another test from the clip after thermal fuse. If you get nothing and it still says OL or high meg, then that lets you know that the fuse is blown and it's an open. Okay. This is how it took. It took me once I figured out how to open it up, everything else flowed. I was done with it in about a day. I had to go, minus having to go pick up the part from an electronics part store for the thermal fuse. But this right here is the Everus, Everus, I should say rather. Everus 1700 watt air fryer, 5 to 8 liters. If you have any questions about this, lay something down in the comments and we'll try to help you as much as we can. But that was the main problem. If you come across this problem where you are frying or just when you go ahead and you go to insert this and it doesn't light up at all, the button does not show at all, that button doesn't show at all, then most likely, before you start trying to go send it back or anything else, it's most likely that thermal fuse is blown. There's no rhyme or reason to as to why thermal fuses blow, except that happens every now and then. Unfortunately, we've got a model that did it. So I'm not saying that this is a bad model, but it's kind of disheartening that this happened only after 3 months of time, 3 months of us having it. So that is our take on it. It's fixed, it's up and running, as you can see. Like I said, if you have any questions, leave something in the comments below. We'll try to help you as much as possible. But this is for the Everus. This is for anybody out there who's trying to figure out what's going on with it, why it's not working. I tried to get in contact with the company, and like I said, that was to no avail. It was the email was no help. So I ended up having to do it on our own. Like I said, if you have any questions, about this, comments, please leave in the comments below, and we'll get back to you about it. Thank you.